If tomorrow were your last day to live, would you still dare to make excuses? Would you still dare to say, later? Look back at your own life. How many opportunities have you let slip away? How many dreams have you buried, all because of 2 words, one day? But the harsh truth is this: tomorrow is not guaranteed to anyone. If you don't begin today, perhaps you will never begin at all. This moment is yours. No waiting, no postponing, no excuses. And to help you understand this truth more deeply, let me tell you a story. The story of a man born into poverty with nothing in his hands but a pair of calloused palms and an unshakable belief. His name is David. His life is living proof of one philosophy: no excuses. David was born in a small, struggling American town. Houses leaned against each other as if sharing their misery, and most kids grew up dreaming only of getting out as soon as they could. His parents worked tirelessly from dawn to dusk, yet their meager wages were barely enough to keep food on the table. Many nights, dinner was nothing more than a slice of dry bread with a thin smear of butter. To almost everyone, David's destiny seemed already written: to grow up poor, work in a factory, and continue the endless cycle of hardship that his family had endured for generations. But David was different. From a young age, he carried inside him a burning fire, a hunger to break free from the chains of poverty, a hunger to prove that one's circumstances do not define one's future. Yet, the biggest obstacle was not the lack of money. It was the heavy, crushing words of those around him. You'll never make it. With a family like yours, you can't succeed. Stop dreaming, David. Those words were like invisible chains, dragging him back every time he dared to take a step forward. Some nights, David lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe I'll never escape. That was the temptation of excuses, the easy lie we tell ourselves so that we don't have to try. Excuses numb the pain of failure for a moment, but they also rob us of any chance at success. But then one freezing winter morning, everything changed. David saw his mother standing in line for food stamps, her thin hands trembling as she clutched a small bag of rice. The sight cut into him like a knife, and in that moment, David realized, if I keep making excuses, if I keep blaming fate, then this life, this misery, will never end. He clenched his fists and swore to himself, no more excuses. Circumstances will not decide my future. I will. When David entered high school, he fell in love with basketball. But there was one problem. He was short, skinny, and completely unremarkable compared to the other players. His coach told him bluntly, "You're not cut out for this. You don't have the physique. Don't waste your time." His classmates laughed. "David? Basketball? Forget it. He can't even reach the rim." At that moment, David could have easily found his excuse. "I'm too small. I don't have the right genes. It's impossible." But instead, he told himself, "If I don't have height, I'll build my jump. If I don't have strength, I'll train harder. No excuses." And so he did. Every morning, while the town still slept, David was already outside, running laps, shooting, jumping, practicing again and again. In the bitter cold of winter, with snow stinging his face, he trained while wrapped in layers of worn clothes. Every stumble, every missed shot, every slip on the icy ground was a test. And each time he whispered to himself, "No excuses. Try again." A year later, his coach was stunned. David wasn't the tallest, nor the strongest, but he had become one of the most relentless players on the team. He earned his place, not through luck, not through natural talent, but through pure grit and a refusal to give up. From basketball, David learned a priceless lesson. In life, there will always be a reason to quit, but there will also always be a reason to keep going. The difference between success and failure lies in which one you choose. When David entered college, the challenges only grew tougher. To pay tuition, he had to juggle multiple jobs. He washed dishes in restaurants, delivered newspapers at dawn, waited tables late into the night. Some days, he worked from sunrise until midnight, stumbling back to his dorm room, too exhausted to study. Sometimes he fell asleep with his textbook still open in front of him. He could have said, "I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. I'm too tired." But instead, he reminded himself, "I can complain or I can keep going. I choose to keep going." Whenever someone asked how he managed, David smiled. "If I make excuses, I go back to the starting line, and I refuse to go back." Those grueling years forged in him an iron will and unshakable discipline. And when graduation day finally came, David stood proudly among the top students of his class. But life after college was even harsher. David dreamed of starting his own tech company, but from day one, he faced rejection after rejection. Investors shook their heads. "Your idea's childish. It'll never work." Customers turned away. "We don't trust small companies." His founding partners abandoned ship one by one, leaving him to carry the burden alone. Each failure gave him a perfect excuse to quit. "The market is too competitive. I don't have enough capital. I don't have the right team." But David refused to bend. "No funding? Then I'll start small, with whatever I have. No team? Then I'll begin alone. No customers? Then I'll prove value until they come." And that's exactly what he did. Step by step, client by client, product by product, David built his foundation. Years later, his company became one of the fastest-growing tech firms in America. When journalists asked him for his secret, David smiled. "There is no secret. I just never gave myself the luxury of an excuse." When you eliminate excuses, only one path remains: action. And that is the truth I want to leave with you today. You may be poor. You may lack opportunities. You may not be as smart or as talented as others. But none of that decides your future. What decides it is simple. Do you keep making excuses or do you take action? David never let poverty hold him back. When friends said, "We can't afford college," David answered, "Then I'll work, I'll apply for scholarships, I'll borrow and repay. Poverty will not stop me." When others said, "We don't have time for our dreams," David woke earlier, slept less, and squeezed every hour he could into chasing his goals. He understood one truth: excuses are sweet poison. They comfort you for a moment but destroy your entire life. David's story is not about being superhuman. He was an ordinary man. He felt pain. He felt doubt. He felt fatigue. But he made one different choice. Instead of building excuses, he built dreams. Instead of searching for reasons to stop, he searched for reasons to keep moving forward. And that's the only difference that mattered. In his later years, when David gave motivational talks, he often ended with one unforgettable line: "If you really want it, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse." So let me ask you now, will you choose the way or the excuse? Because the truth is simple. Excuses bring temporary comfort, but action brings lasting freedom. Excuses keep you trapped in your comfort zone, but action takes you into the light of success. If you want a great life, stop making excuses. If you want a better career, stop blaming others. If you want health, stop delaying. If you want love, stop waiting for someone else to change first. It all begins with you, and it begins right now. This is not just David's story. This is a reminder for you, for me, for all of us. No excuses. Make it your motto. Make it your compass. Because once you stop making excuses, the world will stop ignoring you. It will start opening doors for you. And before you leave this video, I want you to do something small but powerful. Write down the excuse you use most often. Cross it out. Replace it with one action you can take today. That small step could be the beginning of a revolution in your life. Thank you for staying until the end. If David's story and the philosophy of no excuses inspired you, share this message with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe, because your journey of transformation has only just begun. And I believe, with all my heart, that you can do it. No excuses.